a viewer of the show. Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. Kevin Pollak's Hat Show is what our guest is calling it. It took 146 episodes before one of the guests suggested that we call it Kevin Pollak's Hat Show. I like it.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, and we're going to lose.
Different hat every week.
We're going to lose the fucking C. The C is no longer for chat.
You know what? Can we have guests come in and we don't talk about their work
speaking of which, what's
or
happening
anything?
here?
They just come in and we talk about hats for 2 hours. Can we do that?
Nope.
No?
I'll tell you what I would like to talk about for 2 hours.
What's that?
You're a new television star.
What?
Yeah, man.
No.
Spill it.
Thank you.
Spill it.
Thank you.
Keep your seats.
The television program is called Do No Harm.
We talked about you shooting a pilot.
I shot a pilot, Philadelphia.
We Skyped you in, I believe, from Philadelphia.
You Skyped me in from Atlanta. We're shooting a different thing, but it's all the same.
Ah, see, you could have just gone with it.
I could have. But you know our fans would go back and call bullshit.
All three of them would be very
That's
upset.
right.
So
it's called Do No Harm. It's an intense, gritty, amazing medical drama.
But they're saying it's a modern telling of Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes. Stephen Pasquale is the lead, and he has a split personality.
You know him from Rescue Me.
Rescue Me, of course. Brilliant, fantastic actor. You absolutely know who he is.
Can't wait to have him on the show.
Can't wait to have him in Los Angeles. He's an East Coast guy.
I see.
Hates to fly.
I see.
Now listen.
Yeah.
We're not going to be on for a while.
So everyone, I want to add a little more weight here.
Yeah.
They make 200 fucking pilots a year.
Yeah.
80% of nice. Wow, that's also fantastic.
Yeah.
80% of those pilots die. It's
Yeah.
now a higher number, I've been told. It's closer to 90% of pilots fail.
That does. It's disgusting. Yeah.
See, our guest doesn't know because he's done like
winners.
2 and they just went
And
right
they both
to
go,
series.
wild success, our guest.
We're,
Fucking hate him.
Fucking
I've
annoyed.
never,
Cannot
So, anywho,
Yeah.
I just want to build a little drama into how remarkable it is. In fact, friend to this show, Mr. Jason Antoon, did a pilot that everyone thought would go, starring Roseanne Barr
Yeah.
and John Goodman back together
Oh,
again.
yeah.
And that didn't fucking go.
No.
Even if that script had sucked for some reason, they didn't like the pilot episode, you scrap, you redo.
Yeah. You
It's
got the
Roseanne
people.
and John Goodman.
No.
Unbelievable. So the fact that this pilot went to series, I really want to make a big deal
We
out of it.
defied lottery-style odds to get on the air.
Literally.
And and now we're going to shoot it a few months from now, I guess.
We'll see you in January once
February after the football season.
once Sunday Night Football ends.
Sunday football's over. NBC Sunday nights, 10 o'clock, February 2015.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Please.
You said it's a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde medical, or
Yeah, medical drama.
and what kind of case is the guy Hyde, and is the
doctor.
guy both the lead, and is he solving
Yes.
crimes? during the day?
No crimes.
Not,
It's
med-
not
I mean
not
medical
not a detective
Mr.
thing.
Is.
Right. He's a doctor during the day,
Yes.
and then he's this crazy personality
Wait.
at night.
But
let me see if I got this straight.
Yeah.
Is he curing people by day and killing them at night? Maybe. Can't
Do
say.
no harm.
but how? It's called Do No Harm, and so is it more of a?
So it's Quincy gone mad.
It is Quincy gone mad. Wait, wasn't Quincy a medical examiner?
Well, it's even better
Here's
now.
my question still.
Yes.
Does Hyde help solve the crimes?
There's no crimes.
There's no crimes.
All right, not crimes.
Oh, you mean the crimes
Mystery.
he's committing?
No. The mysteries. I keep thinking medical science, like medical science, but involved in
It's
like
not like
forensics.
CSI.
Okay.
There's no. How did he die?
So it's like House. Ish. I mean, you're solving.
May I remind our guest of the conversation we had before the show?
But then you said people butt in.
Yes, that's true.
I just think it's rude to keep me here silent.
This has been the best butt-in ever, by the way. Joe McHale stormed out. Fuck him. This has been the best butt-in
been
ever.
pretty great. Yeah.
But I do want, you know what? Let's not be afraid to throw our guest on, damn it. Let's break
Yeah,
with tradition. 146 show.
absolutely.
There we go. Look who's on the show.
Hey!
It's Adam Brody, everybody.
Brody!
Bring those paws together. Please be seated.
Come on.
All right, because we have a genuine conversation here, because I think the premise of this show is pretty fucking
It's
great.
really, really good.
Right.
The pilot was one of the best pilot scripts I've ever read, and I have seen, actually not even the whole pilot, I only saw the first 20 minutes. It's fucking great. It's
What do you
really good. I am the lead, Stephen Pasquale's administrative assistant at the hospital.
Who has like Asperger's?
Yeah, he's Asperger's, he's a little off. So when shit starts going down, he didn't know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Who directed the pilot?
Michael Mayer, who is also our co-exec producer, and he did Smash for NBC.
A huge, giant hit for them.
Huge, yeah. So
And
good people.
It's very exciting, Sam.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Honest to goodness. We're going to probably miss you a handful of Sundays once you get into
where are you
production.
filming?
Philadelphia.
Motherfucking
wow,
Delphia.
wow.
It is hard. I don't want to say.
That's so rare. That's
Yeah.
kind of neat.
Right? I don't know how it's going to all
films a
pan out,
series in
but
Philadelphia.
you know,
That's
if
so
we
good.
have to, we'll Skype in.
Yeah, no, we'll Skype in. But here's other good news for me selfishly. Somebody's going to be back at my Tuesday night poker game. Because they're going to have
If I'm in
TV
town.
money, TV money to throw around.
That's how
well,
I like
here's
to
what
do
I
it.
figure. Whenever you know you have Tuesday through Wednesday off, Friday through Wednesday off.
Yeah.
You come, you do the chat show, and then you play poker on Tuesdays, you go back to work on Wednesday.
This sounds great.
What am I asking?
I'll let the producers know that's how I'd like to swing it.
Because, you know, I've only heard from people who do the 1 hour dramas
Yeah.
in a big ensemble.
Yeah.
I work like 2 days a week.
That's probably what will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will probably work 2
Our
days.
guest today may be able to tell us a little something about the.
No, I don't think so.
The 1
He's
hour,
never known
The
disappointment.
1 hour drama.
They want him in
Mr.
every day.
Mr. 1 hour drama.
Mr. Television.
Well, it's you and
I'm king of
Milton.
TV.
You and Milton Berle. All right, I do want to point out something I should have said from the outset because I'm contractually obligated by our sponsor.
We'll just cut out that first bit.
This podcast is being brought to you by GoDaddy.com. So you need a website? Everyone needs a website for your family, your business, or hi, perhaps for your crazy hobbies. You're going to get online sooner or later. Come on, people. When you get online, the people you want to go to, the place you want to do it at, is GoDaddy.com. It's easy, it's affordable. It's a name you know and you trust. Did you know, for example, that Adam Brody is a cutiepatootie.com is available? It's true. Did you also know that Kevin Pollak is the man.com, also available? Can't believe it, neither can I. Neither one's been snatched up. Now the idea for you, my friends, is available. Just make your own. Go in. Take advantage of this rare opportunity. You understand? Here's the thing. Our wonderful sponsor, they have a email for you, online storage, tons of stuff that you need. You enter the code. This is the important part. 25May11. That's 25 May 11. At GoDaddy.com. GoDaddy.com to get 25% off your entire order. Honestly, folks, that's pretty damn amazing. Our sponsor is giving you 25% off the order if you just type in 25. Go back. What did it say?
25 May 11.
Really? Keep going. Oh, yeah. 25 May 11. 25 May 11. To get 25% off at GoDaddy.com.
That's great.
If I may further make this point, folks, you can also use Kevin10, Kevin10 to get 10% off your repeat orders. Do not be afraid. I'm very excited to have GoDaddy.com as our sponsor. I veered a little bit into presidential territory, and I'll tell you why. A couple things. Playing poker last Thursday at Hank Azaria's weekly home game. And someone at the table, I don't need to say who, it's none of your fucking business. Someone at the table gets a text and goes, oh boy. What? You don't take a text at the table, it's bad form. What? It's George Clooney. Wants to know if I can be his teammate in a 2-on-2 pickup game against the president tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. That fucking happened. That night, while we were playing poker, you may have read in the papers, the president was, in fact, at George Clooney's house with about 150 people, who most of which paid 40 G's a head to mingle at George Clooney's house with the president. And it was a great fundraiser. It was a record-breaking fundraiser for POTUS, which is fantastic.
You've been watching
but
too much
before
TV.
the evening was even over, Clooney is texting our friend, saying, 2-on-2, it's you and me against the president and whatever stiff he can put together tomorrow morning. So we all yell at our friend, this is the greatest story you will ever tell. We get to dine on this story for years, the fact that we were here when this fucking text came in. Cheadle and Don Cheadle and the Tobey Maguire horn in, and it becomes 3-on-3. But it is the greatest story our friend Mikey will ever have to tell. Very fucking awesome. And he was saying, I'm gonna let. I know.
See
I
how that
said
happened?
Mikey. I'm gonna let George cover the president. Obviously, I'm not gonna cover the president. I don't want to get shivved by the Secret Service.
I was going to say the Secret Service run with him.
Yeah, they run with him, and they have hookers in tow. So really, it's a problem.
Too many men on the floor.
You're not buffering.
In the middle of this story.
You're not buffering.
You did the buffering gag? You're rolling.
So when they get to the 3-on-3 game, turns out POTUS wants Clooney on his team. Yeah. And Mikey ends up covering the president, and the president is covering him, and he dunked off the president.
He dunked?
He absolutely
Mike
dunked.
cannot dunk.
How? He's 6'2". Of course he can dunk.
6'2"?
And he's a baller. Why do you think Clooney fucking called him to begin with and said,
yeah,
what happened?
I'm just thinking you are really narrowing it down on who this guy is. You were trying to avoid.
Mikey. I said Mikey 6 times.
Yeah. Mikey who?
But exactly. Nobody knows Mikey unless you play in these games. I'm not going to say it was Mike Hesloff. That's wrong.
Wait.
That's ridiculous. Why would I say his full name? It's not even right. No, I'm sure his name was in the papers too. I mean, he's an asterisk in the story next to Don Cheadle and Tobey Maguire and George Clooney and the President of the United States. But God bless Mikey sitting at that table getting that text, and we're all like, fuck, this is the greatest. So yesterday at Hank Azaria's annual charity poker tournament, which I have another story about.
Good boy.
Mikey was there, and so everybody was like, Mikey! Crazy celebration, nuts, ridiculous, fantastic. Amazing story for him. Here's the thing I'm going to get to before how I did at the tournament yesterday. Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. I called my mom this morning. Sam, I assume you did the same?
I did, but allow me to say into my camera and the world at large, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you.
That's all you got?
Happy Mother's Day, Lynn Levine of Fort Lee, New Jersey. I love you.
And it's that in lieu of flowers?
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't want the flowers.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Elaine Harlow, my mom remarried, loved the flowers she got.
Yeah.
Lynn?
Yeah.
Sorry, no flowers.
She got some cards.
What?
She got cards.
She got a nice
see her
card?
tomorrow.
You're going to see her tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I will not see Elaine.
I sent flowers to.
Did you also send flowers to my mom?
Oh, good. Great.
Adam sent flowers to
Enjoy
Elaine.
Adam's flowers.
Because my mom did go a little nutty about the flowers. I thought, geez, I only sent one thing.
I gotcha.
Adam also had my ass covered. That is a guess.
That's a good guess.
You know what? It's official. The name of the show is now Kevin Pollak's Hat Show. It's official. I will not go back on this. Okay, Sammy, you are a big a poker tournament player as well as a cash game player. I am just a cash game player. I do not enjoy tournaments.
Yeah.
You, in fact, have won a tournament or 3 in your lifetime.
Yeah, sure.
The last one you won, how many players involved?
You don't want me to answer that.
It's okay. It could be 5,000.
It was like 300 and plus.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know what it means to get to a final table.
Yes, I do.
Let alone down to the last 2 players, and in your case, win.
Yeah.
I did not know what it was like to be in the final table. So when I made the final table out of only 170 players, but still...
But I will say this.
Yes, sir.
That tournament, which I know well, tons of pros.
May I say, was Annie Duke
Yeah.
at your tournament?
No.
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 Gavin Smith?
No.
Nope. No. Yeah, there were a handful of real legitimate pros there. Annie Duke, who's been on this show, is a wonderful guest, arguably one of the best players in the world. J-Mac was at her table playing a little bit. J-Mac, you didn't felt her, but someone nearby you did, who I later felt it at the final table. It's not important. What is important is that out of 179 players, I made it not just to the final table, the final 2. I placed second in the big tournament. Yeah, and it raised money for... See, I was pretty sure I wrote it down.
Determined to succeed.
Thank you. Determined to Succeed, Geffen, prizes from Aria, Fit for Life, and Sonos. Thank you, Sam, for having my back on that.
You're welcome.
Determined to Succeed in deal, indeed.
Who's number 1, if I may be so bold?
I didn't even catch his name because he's a big
Was it POTUS?
fucking nobody. No, a wonderful person who will go nameless. No, I really didn't know him, and everyone kind of had decided he was the guy who was going to win once we got down to the 2 final tables.
Let's call him Mel.
I did text Keji his name. I can give you his actual
No,
name.
I don't. I was just curious if it was someone famous. And since
Oh no,
it's not,
it was someone
not
famous,
important.
maybe in the music world, because he does music for television shows. I'm going to call him by his name, and that name is Douchebag.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. It's like a stage name, or do you think that was?
No, Danny Douchebag.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for him.
Wonderful player. Happy Mother's Day to you. All right. Lastly, Jamie's not here, as you may have noticed, because we certainly would have been talking to her prior to this. In flight at this moment, live to south of the border, Mexico land, where J-Mac has convinced her that she's going to be sucked into a drug cartel at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We will not see her again.
Oh, we'll never see her again.
To avoid them, stay in the walled garden.
Oh,
where the Americans
avoid
go
them.
Yeah.
I said Italian, Mexican, you're only halfway there. You can kind of talk your way through it, no?
Sure.
You guys are used to ending your words in O. Lo siento. Not too different than mi dispiace. Yeah, it's quite a bit different, actually. Both meaning, I'm sorry.
Bellagio.
Or the Bellagio. What?
We got it.
Talkin' Walkin', please go there if you can. Enjoy us on the iTunes. Go to talkinwalkin.com. Walkin' spelled I-N, like talking. It's me rambling as Christopher Walken for an hour. It is the sickest shit alive, and I can't...
For an hour. And do you have a guest on that as well?
It's not a guest, really, and you're more than welcome to come by. I'll have a friend, Sammy's done one, come by, we sit at my dining room table. It's my dinner with Andre. It's two people shooting the shit.
Yes, but one's walking.
Yeah, but one happens to be me talking only as Christopher Walken,
yeah.
without any reference whatsoever to his career, it being him.
Right.
It's just two guys shooting the shit.
But then, can you reflect on your life, or are you just a voice?
No, I'm just a voice.
Okay.
It's just totally ridiculous. And now that you've already met him, I'm just going to jump. Please subscribe to the Talkin' Walkin' on iTunes. Why not? While you're at it, subscribe to this show as well. And give us a nice review, I'm being told, to keep pushing this. Write to us at contact@kevinpollexchatshow.com. Tell us how you do the chat show. Do you watch it on the iTunes? Do you download a Roku box, Apple TV? How you doing it? Let us know. We'll read your letters, your emails. Ask Kevin is another one we don't have today, and Larry King Game, which is the last thing I did not explain to my guests, and I can't wait to get to that later in the game. For 7 or 8 years, you've heard geek is chic. I myself have been saying for several years now that the geek shall inherit the earth. But one could make the argument that my guest today is in fact patient zero of this movement. His character Seth Cohen on the Fox hit TV show of the mid-O's, the OC, burst onto the scene in 2003, I believe, and immediately proved that you could be charming while being neurotic and into indie music and comic books. It didn't hurt, of course, that he's annoyingly handsome. If you go for that look, I'm just saying. Time magazine did a story about his appeal during the final season of the show titled Looking for Mr. Adorkable. That's right, Zoe Deschanel. Somebody was called Adorkable in 2007. Suck it. I'm just saying it happened. Please welcome Adam Brody. Adam, I did not know about this. J-Mac, who does our wonderful research dossier, put a 35-page thing together for me to study.
35 pages.
I'm just saying
I hope you didn't read it.
No, most I got through 23. And, I did not know about this Adorkable thing.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's 2007, a lifetime ago for you. You've only done 37.
For all of us, really.
You've only done
It's different.
37 films since then.
Bush was president.
Well, hello. Is the next caller there? So when Zoe Deschanel becomes a giant TV star, and we love her to death, let's be crystal clear. There's no way not to love this talent.
Agreed. That show's great,
Singing,
too.
acting, face.
The show's very funny.
Everything. Father, Academy Award-winning cinematographer, her sister. I mean, the whole family. It's insane. But when the title Adorkable gets attached to her in every form of the press, and now it's in the vernacular, without question.
Right.
Did the memory pop back in there of this Time magazine article from 2007?
Well, was I conscious of the fact that I had been ascribed that label earlier? Yes.
Of course, you read the article.
Was I hurt? Was I angered? Was I jealous at the fact? No, I'm happy the torch has passed. Can't carry it forever. And I'm sure she doesn't. I have no idea how she feels about it. I can't imagine she cares.
Yeah, and she doesn't want this title to last.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way.
I don't. We're just passionate back and forth.
Yeah, but oh man, that's crazy, right?
Well, I mean.
Yeah.
I guess.
Anyway.
I guess both shows on Fox, no less.
That's the.
It's really them that did it, I think.
So really, it's Murdoch. We need to blame Rupert.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So it's Rupert's idea, this whole adorable thing.
Son of a bitch.
He wants the trial and the focus off of him. Find me somebody adorable.
Right. If there's only some way he could get Zooey Deschanel over to England with him for these trials, really take the heat off him.
Just to sing.
Just
Really.
to hang out.
Walk through the courtroom,
I'm quirky.
sing a little song.
Wearing a hat.
It's a good impression.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you, which I've asked only a few guests on the show after
great.
146
Who else did you
episodes
ask? But
of
we'll save
Kevin
that.
Pollak's Hat Show. What was it like to work for me and with me when I say for me? Were you nervous going in? Because you seemed nervous when we worked together on Cop Out. You seemed, I didn't know.
Is that true? Did I seem
Wait,
nervous?
I'm sorry, what did you work together?
A little film called Cop Out.
Was formerly called Couple of Dicks, to be fair.
The original title,
Oh,
Couple of Dicks! Yeah.
it had the greatest title on the planet.
Yeah, but they do that. It's so cynical almost, because you do it knowing that you can't, and that's what helps get the movie made, and it's like, you're never going to be allowed to,
All right, Dick's short for detective, and that's what the...
Sure. Cock is short for rooster. I
No.
mean, get your mind out of the gutter. I get
Come on,
it.
people. Bring it up. Willis and the crazy Tracy Morgan
Yeah.
with a couple of dicks in question, and then you and I were the other couple of dicks.
Yeah. A couple of
So when
women.
you show up to work and anticipating working with me, what was that like?
Well, I really a shot in the dark. I could have gone any way.
Uh-huh.
And I found you to be...
What had you heard? What had you heard going in?
I've heard, well, I looked you up and I realized that you had been in movies.
Right.
And I had seen some of these movies, and when I thought about it...
Oh, geez. You thought.
I put two and two together, and I've seen this guy, so I was a fan, you could say.
Oh, technically.
But no, you were kind of a dick at first.
Sure.
As many comedians are, right. and then I think you just gave me a lot of shit. I believe
for no reason,
right off the bat. Just challenging me, and I don't know. I think, and then we became friends.
Yeah.
That's the way I remember.
Absolutely. And now
And here I am.
And now you've been to my home.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come to your home soon as you're moving west, young man. That's exciting.
Yes, I am.
But you're used to the California like myself. I'm born and raised. I'm originally from the north. You from the south, from the San Diego.
Yeah, where are you from?
San Francisco.
Oh, I've been there very few times, and I can't believe how little I've explored California for how long I've lived here.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I gotta
it's
get
also
there.
the size of China. The state's ridiculously huge.
Right, but varied, diversified.
Crazy. And you go central, and it's this whole other world.
Yeah.
It's the farm, it's Wisconsin.
I know little.
Here's what I want to know. Are you a fan of South Park?
Yes.
Are you watching this season?
No.
But
I'm a
if you've
fan
heard
of
the
South
song,
Park, but I haven't.
Have you heard the song?
What's this song?
J-Mac, find me the song, please.
We don't have the rights to hear that song.
Nope. All right. The name of the song, Jacking It in San Diego.
Oh.
South Park's been doing an amazing season yet again. And they took a little advantage of an actual story that happened. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, the yes, the Coney guy who, I was,
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
But listen, let's just talk about the South Park version, because that's the funny version.
Yes.
So Jacking It in San Diego. But I believe it was Will Ferrell who kind of put you on the funny map with the big classy San Diego, no?
Well, Be Classy San Diego I love.
Right.
If I never hear again when I say I'm from San Diego, somebody going, the whale's vagina, like that'll be too soon.
He ruined it for you is what you're saying.
I love that movie.
Right.
I like that joke fine. That was a mediocre joke in a great movie, in my opinion, and it's the only thing I hear in conjunction with San Diego. If I just heard Stay Classy San Diego, that'd be great.
Right.
I love San Diego, but it is one of those places where I don't love it. It's nice, and that's the problem. Not the problem, but it's not that dramatic. It never makes for a great.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I was born in San Francisco, but I was raised in San Jose, which is another place just like that.
Yeah, it's like it's pleasant.
Nothing
it's very
super exciting.
not a lot to talk about, but I do like it. And,
Oh, look, there's a Del Coronado. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. La Jolla is a beautiful. There's some beautiful coastline.
Yeah.
And
you surfed a little as a kid.
I surfed a lot, as a kid, and yeah.
Tell me about that, because I know absolutely nothing about that world.
Well, it was a really unique. I have so many great memories of it. Actually, I didn't really live right on the ocean. I lived probably half hour inland, but And so I went to an inland high school, relatively speaking.
Sure.
And we certainly didn't have a surf team or anything like that, but we got this great deal, me and a few friends in high school, where it was really a con, sort of, but you sort of just pretend you were training for the Olympics.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and we got to have what was known as surf PE, but you could do it technically for anything, for if you were a figure skater. And
skateboarding.
Yeah, truly. So we essentially had first period off. We had block scheduling, so we'd have first period every other day off. Couple hours. So I have so many great memories from like 15 to 18 of
You and your best friends going to the ocean.
but at like 5 in the morning, when it's dark, and then we'd go after school too. But like truly paddling out, looking at it as the sun comes up, trying to determine how big the swell is. And then it's just very scenic, and I don't know. I just have a lot of great memories. And also, you think of the beach as, most people, when you think of the beach, you think of it sunny in summer, and that's fine. But the truth is, the waves were always the smallest in summer. And some, if you surf,
you're freezing. You're in a wetsuit.
You're in a wetsuit, so you're relatively the same. I mean, they have wetsuits that can make you warm in any temperature.
It's the Pacific. It's 40 degrees no matter
It's cold.
what day
It's cold.
it is.
It's cold. But I have so many nice memories of the sun going down in January. Being in the ocean, and then the beach is deserted, and that whole the overcast ocean is another kind of scenic paradise for me as well. And I don't know, it's beautiful.
So why'd you give it up?
I didn't give it up. I
Just totally guessed.
I didn't give it up. I still do it, although much more infrequently. But I'm moving closer to the ocean. So
Yeah. So maybe you'll get back out there.
That's the idea. I'll do it more than I have been anyway.
Because I know one guy that plays in the poker game fairly regularly who still goes out with his sons and swears by it. I mean, there's some pretty great spots.
Well, there's truly like later in life people that find it. They really become. I have a lot of friends who discover it in their 20s and just live by it.
And they swear it's like the greatest workout on the planet, that you're working your ass off to get up and stay up.
It is. Well, the hard thing about it is, unlike snowboarding or even skateboarding, you really have to work hard, but it's also great because so much of it, like I was saying, is just sitting with your friends in the lineup or quietly in the lineup on your board, just kind of watching the horizon.
Right.
But you really have to work hard. I mean, I'm, fairly, I'm decent, and even so, I'll spend 10 minutes actually surfing in an entire surf session.
Right.
So you really get precious little time to practice, precious little time to actually stand up and be, especially if you live in Southern California where the surf isn't, is less than perfect.
Right.
Short ride, so it's hard. It takes a lot of work to get good. Whereas snowboarding, let's say, you can advance pretty fast because you're up,
You're up 70% of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Minimum. Yeah.
And so surfing, you have to be pretty committed in that sense to get better. But that's also what's great about it is, it takes dedication, or you can't really just be good. You actually truly have to put in a lot of hours.
And also at that age, I would guess it's a sense of belonging, too.
It is. It was cool. There was my high school, by the time I was so, wrongfully so, but I was so bitter at the fact that we didn't live by the beach at the time. It was so unfair to my parents. They raised me so wonderfully. But I was so mad about going to this inland high school that, not mad, but I sort of withdrew socially by the time I got to high school and had a car. And all my friends, I went to this one beach in La Jolla where it was, most other beaches, the locals were comprised of people who lived there. And I went to the kind of misfit beach where most of the locals were all the couple of kids from every inland school who wanted to surf every day, and they would all kind of drive there. So it was nice, but it's definitely like there's a local, there's different spots, different groups. It's definitely its own social clique, and I have so many good friends and faces I remember from that era of my life.
Right, and it's not like I decided I wanted to play baseball, and then you instantly fit in with the massive population of baseball fans, Surfing just seems like a microcosm for its participants, that you're almost like a member of a club in a sense.
Well, it's true. The problem with surfing, or not the problem, but it's precious resources. So you can't, it just can't be a nationwide thing. It can't even be the whole coast. And even Los Angeles, part of my problem with it, and the thing that's so great about San Diego for surfing, is every square inch of coastline in San Diego is surfable, basically. So it's very spread out, where you want to go, and it's not as crowded. Here, it's like Santa Monica, Venice is not really surfable. You have one wave in Topanga, then you have water breaking on rocks until the Malibu Peak, and so you really got to go to Manhattan Beach or north of Malibu to even get anywhere where you can kind of be, find your own wave a little bit. So anyways, because there's so few good surfing spots, it's very, it's concentrated in these little areas. So, and if you, practically speaking, if you live by a certain place, that's probably the place you're going to surf the most. You're going to see the same people, and it's your local. But that's what makes it so great. It is like you get to be in a little gang. And
yeah. Now, how often, while you're sitting on the board, waiting in the queue, as it were, did the idea of acting? I mean, you'd done a little bit as a kid already, and then Inherit the Winds in there, and the
it's funny. I think I was really into it when not really. I mean, I've always sort of loved movies. As 90% of Americans. And I remember asking my parents about it probably around 6th grade, pretty early on, and I sort of and it's so funny, I really liked Macaulay Culkin on one hand, he was like my acting, I responded to the people my age. I mean, there was a bad guy, I remember there was a kid in RoboCop 2 who was like a kid drug dealer.
Yeah.
And he was like my age at the time. I'm like, here's this 2nd grader, this 5th grader playing like Scarface. And what a dream role, and what an amazing, I want to be this kid. And I remember that, and really actually making me want to act, and Home Alone was, my favorite movie, but also I kind of wanted to do it, and then like River Phoenix was like my James Dean type idol at the time.
Absolutely.
And so I asked my parents about it, and they said they couldn't, they both worked full time, and we didn't live in LA, and I said, well, you can do a play, we can't really, help you with the professional side. And I did one play, I did Inherit the Wind, it was adult theater, and I was a paper boy. I had 5 lines or something. I don't even remember.
I don't want to correct you, but adult theater means something very different.
What does adult theater mean? I mean, it wasn't my school thing. I mean,
adult movies, adult literature.
Okay. Well, adult. I don't really pornographic theater. I hadn't really put it together.
That didn't come to.
There was no frontal. There was no. Yeah, it was chased. And should I say local? I should say Scripps Ranch is where I'm from. Although it's a total misnomer. There's no ranch to be found.
Right.
It's right next to, if you remember.
It was legitimate theater in your neighborhood. That's what it was.
Yes.
It wasn't
local
a school
community
production,
theater,
but still legitimate.
Anyways, I had like 4 lines.
But you're on stage live in front of an audience.
Yeah, but I don't even remember it. I mean, that's how little an impression. I mean, I think I just had 4 lines and went like, "Fuck this! This is
This is horrible."
Well, it was just a long. I think I had to go to a lot of rehearsals to very little payoff. So I didn't touch it again, and then I got very.
Did you get a chance to say, "Hey, Mister"?
I don't remember.
With the paper, "Hey, Mister"? No.
Maybe.
Probably.
Let's say I did.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't. That's from my playbook. Let's say I did.
I don't. So, anyways, I didn't touch it again until I was. The thing about surfing is it's very hard to be. I was never going to be a professional surfer, but you still want to, if you want to do it as a lifelong thing, when you're young anyways, I don't know, my mindset's the same, but at the time, it's like you really don't want to have a 9-to-5 job. That's the sort of,
I got to beat
death
the system.
knell, is that and you really want to be this, you don't want to be, if you have to go on the weekends, you're a weekend warrior and you're a chump. And more, you're not a chump, it's just, it's going to be crowded and you're not going to get to do it every day.
If you're used to surfing during the week,
yeah.
then you have a name for the people who surf on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And whether it's fair or not isn't important.
Okay.
The naming.
Okay.
And that's about that club thing I meant. That microcosm of people who take it seriously and it means something to them. That doesn't mean that people who can only get away on weekends because they have a legitimate job take it any less seriously. But there's a certain level of meaning for the people that are doing it all week long. Yeah,
and when you're in that, I'm such an impressionable age, and I'm discovering who I am, what I want to do. I'm so committed to it at the time. I can't really sort of designing my life around it. And this wasn't for me, but what a lot of people did that was interesting. I say a lot. It was the goal of a lot of my friends. Only a few pulled it off, but the goal was you become an EMT, and then you become to be a firefighter. And the idea there is, you get paid great. But also, I think they work like 3 days on, 4 days off. So that was this if you weren't going to be a pro surfer, the idea was you'd be a fireman and you could surf 4 days a week, you get paid.
I love that your friends figured out a system.
Yeah. So I have a few friends that went down this path. And
you know what also works? Is robbing banks.
Robbing banks, but that
was a movie.
But you know how that's going to end.
That was a great movie.
You know how it's going to end. Ronald Reagan is going to get you.
You're going to...
They're remaking that film.
They are.
Remaking, not 2, but they did make a 2 actually.
They're remaking.
I think you're right.
They're reimagining. They're reimagining.
Yeah.
Very hard to get surfing. It's so funny that I've seen that movie probably second to any movie I've seen in my life. The movie I've seen the most in my life is this movie called North Shore, which is from the 80s. I don't know if you're familiar, but Karate Kid with surfing. And then Point Break probably the second most. And very hard to fit. Surfing doesn't have a traditional sports narrative.
Right.
In fact, it sort of rebels against that. So it's very hard to have a surf central, there's few great surfing movies, particularly because it's hard to infuse drama with it.
And I think I heard somewhere that Brian Grazier's been hell-bent on doing the surf movie for literally 25 years. Still
when you say
can't
the surf movie, you just
figure
mean,
it out.
right. Well, they did.
Endless Summer 3.
They're doing, I mean, you got the travelogue, which is that version. Then you've got but what I think might be interesting is they're doing, I think Curtis Hanson did this kid, James
Blue
Moriarty.
Crush?
Blue Crush, yeah. It was
The problem with Blue Crush, and the problem with even the problem with North Shore is they're both centered around contests, and that really is...
That's not what it's about.
Not really. And
like Tin Cup is bullshit at some point because it becomes a contest and it's like, what?
Well, they're all bullshit.
Tin Cup's golfing?
Yeah.
But golfing is competition, or is it not?
If you love the sport and you're a civilian, it's maybe wagering with your friends kind of competition.
Right.
But it's the love of walking on green grass for 5 hours.
Right.
And having this experience of just going out there
Yeah.
shooting the shit and having a couple of beers and
Yeah.
doing the thing.
Yeah.
So you're out there on the board and it crosses your mind, maybe acting is the way to...
Well, I was, so I decided I got into like a very mediocre school. I was not a good student. I didn't get good grades. Thank you. You don't know what school I got into, do you?
Of course I do.
So, no, you don't. This is like a state school. But
that's what we have. We have a state school in your dossier.
It's not going to be one. But anyways, regardless, I had no idea what I wanted to do for a 9 to 5. So I decided to go to community college, this community college by the beach, and I would work part-time, and I just get, my, I don't even know, what do you call it?
GD.
Yes, thank you. And then GD, I guess, and then go to, a better school when I figured out I get more specialized. I remember loosely taking courses towards being a detective, maybe, but only because from movies, not from actual. I have no interest in actual police work. It was just like, the detective movies seemed cool.
Even the movie Stakeout, which was about real police work.
Right. If you can't solve the crime in an hour, you're not interested.
Yeah.
So if I can't live like on a boat, then I'm not going to do it. But so I got bored. I got instantly bored, and instantly I was like, "Wow, I'm bored. I'm a little more driven than this. I don't know towards what. I'm 19 and I'm 18, and it's been 3 months, and I can already tell like this isn't. I'm gonna have to figure something out." And I had a buddy that lived with me, I don't even remember where we were living, but I had a friend, and he was a little bit older. I was like 18 at the time. He was like 20, 21, maybe 23, and he had a friend who lived in LA. Who lived with his mom, but young, and I would have done this, in Culver City, and and he was like sort of was a local before I was a local at this beach, but I knew him a little, and he moved up here to be an actor, and he had hit it big in that he had guest starred on an episode of the Power Rangers. He'd been like I don't know if he's a bad guy or a good guy, but
didn't matter.
But he was on one episode of the Power Rangers, and we thought like, man, acting seems cool. I was working at Blockbuster at the time, so I was really getting into movies.
Yeah. According to the dossier, it says that's where you really discovered the nuances and your great love of cinema while you were working at the Blockbuster. That's what the dossier says.
Yeah, okay. I hate the way any Wikipedia thing is worded.
Oh, we go way deeper than Wikipedia, my friend.
Even quotes I have said from years past.
Exactly.
I can't stand it. But and so we decided, we thought we'd come up for a couple days, let's stay at his house, he'll show us around. And I can remember this trip so vividly. I mean, this like 2 days, so impressionable. And we went up to his place, and he showed us. It was before you could have a reel, but he had a plastic bag of VHS stuff of all this stuff he'd done, and we're going to watch it. And we watched I remember we watched the Power Rangers episode. We watched this black and white student film where he gets anally raped by I guess his stepfather. And I just remember going, if I could have these to my name, and if only. It just seemed like the dream. So again, we were talking about Kato Kaelin earlier, and I was saying how that left an impression on me at 12 or 14 or however old I was.
1994.
14.
Was the summer of the trials.
Yeah,
and the,
I was 14, and LA is always, living in San Diego, kind of growing up in the shadow of it. I've always been a bit fascinated with LA. And I can
but the
remember
idea of living in a major celebrity's guest house sounded that started to formulate as the plan. For
just
you.
as the idea is like you could be an actor and you don't even have to really make it, and you're still making it. I mean, you still, again, these, and obviously my goals have changed and evolved, but at the time, you're young and you just think like, if I could have a guest house in a great neighborhood and go to acting class, and that just sounds, like the life. So.
And if somehow my landlord, who has the big house, could in fact kill 2 people, then I could even.
I don't think I ever wished that.
Then I could end up on TV as a witness.
Yeah, I wasn't jealous of his. I was jealous of his pre-homicide.
Sure.
Cato.
You guys, he was found innocent, okay?
Not in civil court.
Found innocent in a criminal court of law.
There you go, criminal court.
Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
He may be in jail now for an unrelated crime, which is something we like to call cheater's proof. He was found innocent. Okay?
Thank you, Sammy.
You're very welcome.
That's Sammy's Corner. We'll come back to it right after this. In fact, scroll back to my GoDaddy.com, because I think we're at that point where I need to, look forward to doing the second live read. Can you edit that out when I say need to? Who should we do this one as? Any
Woody.
requests?
Oh,
Woody, that's not a bad choice. All right. So, you say you need a website. Everyone, needs a website these days. If you don't have a website, you know one. You don't have an identity. So maybe you need it for your family, your business, your crazy hobbies. None of my business. You're going to get online, which should you. You may want to stop by this wonderful place called GoDaddy.com. It's, without sounding a bit didactic, I think it's extremely important to remember this. It's easy, it's affordable, and it's a name you can know and trust. Did you know, for example, that SamLevineSphincter.com is now available, still available. And JMac is a superhero.com, also available, oddly enough. These things can be snatched up for nearly nothing. Here's what you do, folks. You go to GoDaddy.com, and you type in the following. Keep scrolling. Don't be afraid to scroll. Enter the code 25May11. That's 25May11 at GoDaddy.com to get you 25% off your entire order. These are just for new customers that found GoDaddy.com through this podcast, which is fantastic. Or you can also use Kevin10, Kevin10 to get 10% off your repeat order. Don't forget, that's GoDaddy.com. You were saying, I believe, something about this dream. You see the VHSs of this guy you knew who surfed the same area, and a dream is starting to percolate. But let's be clear. Go North, young man, is unbelievably intimidating for an 18, 19-year-old. I mean, like crazy intimidating, right?
no, because fortunately, I wasn't really financially supported by my parents, but they lived in San Diego. I had a safety net. It was a few hours away.
Yeah.
I was moving there. I moved with a buddy. I wasn't just getting off the bus on the other side of the country.
How much in your pocket when you show up?
Very little.
Couple hundred? Couple thousand? What are we talking about?
Savings-wise, I couldn't have had. I ended up splitting. I lived on 7th Street in Santa Monica because we didn't want to jump into the city yet. We thought like, well, we're surfers, got to stay by the beach. And so 7th Street in Santa Monica, really nice area, but I think our rent was I lived in a single with not a studio. Studio would have been luxurious. I don't mean a loft studio. I mean a fucking studio. Would have been great. I lived in like a single, which is just smaller than that. In Santa Monica, I think the rent was like $300 something.
So just 2 sleeping bags, you and your friend?
Bunk beds. And
Genius.
This
got laid every night. With
well,
Can I
definitely
ask
never.
A very important question.
Yes.
Many of our
Top or bottom?
No. Yeah. Top,
I was on top.
You were top.
I was younger.
I would have thought that about you.
He was older. And I remember he was dating this girl in San Diego at the time, and I would go to sleep, and he would just be on the phone 3 feet under me for an hour, talking to her. And it was
It's how you wrote your first 3 books.
Yeah.
I was listening to those conversations.
It was torture, but it was.
What was your nom de plume again? Cocky McPenn?
Cocky McPenn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wrote those sexy
Esquire.
novels. based on the stories you heard from your friend on the phone.
My 21-year-old friend.
Who was getting it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you are, you're surfing, living in a bunk bed, you're living the life. Is there a day job? Is there anything happening?
Yeah, I had a lot of day jobs in that first year.
May I recall one of them for you?
Please.
Valet parking at the Beverly Hills Hotel?
Yeah, that was my last one.
Okay.
That was my last one.
Did that ever take place during the Golden Globes weekend?
I don't remember, probably not. I don't know.
Okay.
But I did park Charlton Heston's car. And I didn't know who he was at the time, and I parked it, my friend's like, that's Charlton Heston. I'm like, who?
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Did he have to go Planet of the Apes? How did he get you to...
No, I didn't. I just don't think I just said
let it go.
He said NRA or something, you know, and...
he said NRA?
Yeah.
Wild.
He probably said 10 Commandments.
Uh-huh.
But wouldn't have mattered. I hadn't seen any of those movies at that time.
Since then, you've seen Omega Men and Shaun the Green and loved them both.
I've seen... You know, I still haven't seen... I saw Planet of the Apes. He's very good. And that's, like, honestly, the only one I've really seen still.
Damn Dirty Apes.
You see True Lies. He's a small part in that, remember?
Nope. I forget. I haven't seen that since, like, I haven't seen that in forever.
It's a solid
Don't
film.
worry about it.
Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah.
True Lies.
Yeah.
I'm not going to revisit it. But,
Nope.
But
Good movie.
So who else? That's it? Chaz Heston's the only parked car famous person? Beverly Hills Hotel? Merv's Hotel, you should say? Did you ever see Merv? Merv Griffin owned the place.
No, I wouldn't have. At the time, I wouldn't have known that. Or maybe I did.
You wouldn't have known. He
I
probably didn't have his car parked. He probably came in a different entrance.
Renee Russo, I remember parking her car. And I knew who that was.
And this is the 90s, so she's super hot stuff, doing all
Yeah, this is 99. It's like Thomas Crown Affair.
Hello.
You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
They did a sexy 60s glam look on Renee Russo for the remake of Thomas Crown Affair. That was
She's great.
deep
Great
and way out of here. All right, so there you are. And that was the last pick-me-up job you had.
Yeah.
You're going on auditions. How do you get an agent from the surfboard of the agency?
I went to, this was right through this one friend we knew. We went to the acting class he recommended, and that was like a whole kind of network of...
Please give me your first impression of the acting class. Because...
Well, it was a very practical, it was such a business-oriented acting class and so far away removed from a...
theatrical.
Really,
Theater.
You did like shitty pilot scenes. I mean, shitty audition scenes that people would have. That's what you would put up. I mean, hardly ever would you do something recognizable, or it wasn't. This is my first class.
You were learning to audition.
Yes, it was really, honestly, more about that, and you were doing truly bad stuff. And
which, by the way, if you want a career in television, why fuck around with Be a Leaf?
You can go do Good Will Hunting, but it doesn't mean you're gonna. You know, I mean, I think that would have its benefits too. But this was certainly beneficial, and there was. I don't even want to go into it because I think it was. It's probably not even totally legal, but there, you know. But
you've piqued our curiosity just a little.
Yeah, I know. I fortunately I can't. But anyways, there was a network of managers and you know and let's just say it was sort of a fielding, you know, place for talent in a way. In this,
you know, the statute of limitations on most crimes is like 18 months.
Yeah.
Like
no, it's not me. It's not me.
Minor leagues.
This might be ongoing. I've since left the
minor league scouting squad.
Yeah, kind of. No, anyway, I shouldn't have brought it up because I can't elaborate. And it's not that dramatic or good a story, I assure you.
Sure.
The illegal goings on of this particular drama school. It's nobody's damn business.
No, it's really, like I said, it's not.
If you got to run
dramatic,
numbers,
not dramatic in the least.
If you got to run numbers, you're not running guns or drugs.
But regardless, to say I got it. Manager, then an agent.
That's how you eventually got.
Needless to say,
were able to make the rounds. You're out there, you're auditioning.
Yeah.
And you're starting to do a little guest starring stuff here and there.
Not, you know, I did my first.
Oh, I know what your first thing is, mister. Oh. Yeah, I've got stats.
My literal first thing?
I've got stats. Well, The Young and the Restless would be literal first thing.
Literal first paying thing.
Yes.
Did a short film before that for free, but
of course you did. Yeah. That was like jury duty, though.
Not when you're that age. Not when you're breaking in.
No, it was a big deal. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was
a real big deal.
Yeah, you're thrilled to get a short film.
And at the time, you know, I hadn't acted, so I wasn't. We had no idea if me and my friend would be good or not. You know, I mean, no, really, I had no knowledge. I had a hope, and you know, but I really didn't know, and so it was a thing of. I was never. The reason it wasn't that intimidating to move here, I would say too, is because I just planned on moving for a year and taking stock of my situation, and,
Right.
and if it's good, move forward, and if not, I was
You
gonna
hadn't
go
made
back.
any presumptions?
No.
Right.
But it wasn't like I was planning to move here for my life at all. It was just
You were
gonna
probably
try something.
thinking, it's most likely not going to happen, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. As opposed to, here I come,
Absolutely.
Hollywood.
No, and I like I said, I had no reason to think that it would work. So.
Right. And you kind of fall a little ass backwards into the growing up Brady thing. But then the Gilmore Girls, that's kind of real employment of a first kind, I would say. In
The
terms,
Brady Bunch thing was
well, that's a huge big deal.
at the time was.
But it's a TV movie, right?
Yes.
Absolutely a thrilling opportunity.
but not serious work. You're saying.
Well, no. I just mean not regular work.
No, but I'll tell you, that was so epic for me at the time. It was like I've never gotten as big a job to date. Still, for comparatively in the sense
In terms of the change it makes.
I mean, when I did So Young and the Restless, which I did before that, I had 4 lines on it.
Right. Not too different than, hey, mister.
Not too different at all. And then and it was terrible, by the way. And then I got
I
my
won't
first.
be the judge of that. J-Mac, can you roll the clip from Young and Restless, please, of his first appearance?
stop
Let's take a look.
Stop it.
He won't even look.
Stop it.
Good for you.
It's nice acting, Jimmy.
And
Way to look up.
I did an acne commercial after that, like a prescription grade. This was like a SAG. You wanted to get SAG, you get residuals, big deal.
Hello.
So I did this SAG commercial, but it was like a highly produced, shortened info. It was for medication that like prescription strength. So it was not a half hour, but kind of an informative commercial.
Right.
And in it was for people with like underground, serious, again, medical prescription grade acne.
Ingrown hair thing.
Yeah, and so I had a ton of makeup. You have this one?
No,
you don't.
Sammy, by the way, just remembering the SAG residual thing, if you ever need any assistance, Sammy is captain of SAG's
Mr. SAG.
residual, no?
They're on my enemies list right now. Let me just tell you.
Really?
I am this close to making phone calls to some very high up friends.
It's Mo, Larry, Cheese, slowly I turn with you and SAG's residuals. So yeah, no question, this gig in the Brady Bunch movie,
Anyways,
Growing Up Brady,
I went from working on
gigantic-
one day, even though it wasn't continuous work. I worked. It was like 4 weeks.
Right.
So I worked, every day for 4 weeks on the Paramount lot. I had my 20th birthday on the set. I moved there a year ago. It was kind of amazing.
Wait a minute, this is only 1 year?
Yeah, and I.
That is insane.
Yeah, it was pretty. It felt pretty. Huge
And
at the
driving
time.
on the lot every day?
driving to the Paramount lot.
Oh,
and
man. That is film legend and
Yeah.
history.
No,
as you pass through those gates.
It was really.
Forgive me for racing past this.
No. And then I remember when it went.
Because it is about a personal experience at some point. It doesn't even matter what happens with the job.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was I've never had
Turning
that much. That
20.
felt like the biggest break I've ever had. That was such a bigger deal than the OC to me in terms of how it affected my day-to-day life. It seemed like at the time, anyways. And
Right.
I still didn't know if I was any good, and I still didn't know if it was a fluke or it was. And I just remember wanting somebody to tell me, like, you're going to make, I just didn't know. And I thought, like, when it ended, I was like, is that, I was depressed. I went back to my life. It didn't mean I got hired on anything else. No one
Right.
cared,
The offers didn't pour in.
So I still didn't
But
know,
those-
but it was this great experience that
Those 4 weeks.
such a high to come down from. And then, and then so on. And then eventually other stuff did happen. But-
Right. Eventually other stuff did
Yeah.
happen. Like the Gilmore Girls.
Yes, although that was a point in my time where that was like a tremendously well-written show that I was very lucky to be on, but it didn't feel like a big leap in
No. May I?
war. Oh, yeah.
Little refill action?
Great. Yeah.
See what happens? I just want Jamie to hear that while she was gone, I was still able to refill a guest cup
She'll be very happy.
with some water.
Anyways. So that's that.
Lauren Graham was one of the Gilmore Girls.
She's your friend, right?
She sat at that seat. She was a lovely guest.
Did she drink out of the
show?
cup?
She did in fact drink out of that cup. In fact, I believe at one point she had it on her lap. Yeah.
She was also spitting her tobacco into the cup afterward, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
She was nice. I remember her as being nice.
One of the things I love about the research, mister, is the creator of the OC, when you auditioned the first time, said, I don't like this kid. I never want to see him again. And as it turns out, one of the reasons he said that, I think he later admitted, was that it was subconscious, but what was bugging him was that you reminded him of himself, which is what the character you ended up playing was loosely based on.
That's funny. I thought what bugged him is I seemed like cocky and too confident.
Well, you improvise a little, and that's always going to throw a creator, unless that creator is open to these ideas.
Right.
You want to work with someone who's going to let you improvise a little, but it's quite ballsy to do during an audition, and it does potentially send out a signal that you're, I don't know if cocky is the word. However, what actor going into that horrible world of auditioning doesn't want to suggest to the people watching, I know what I'm doing. You're in good hands.
Right.
I'm not an idiot. Right. But in his creation of the character of Seth, is it Cohen?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little extension of himself, and it kind of rubs him the wrong way, whatever magic it was that you brought in, and it wasn't until quite a bit later.
But I don't think it was an extension of himself until me, right? I mean, before he didn't plan it that way. It was kind of like we had this symbiotic.
Yeah. That's kind of the weird science part of it. That's kind of cool. And must have been eventually, as the series goes on and you guys work together, it must have been, whether he's ever talked about it or not, a little bit of a breakthrough for him creatively.
Yeah, I think our voices complemented each other very nicely. And to think he's so funny, this is Josh Schwartz we're talking about, and I didn't realize at the time, I mean I did, he was young, but he was 26 at this point. I was 23, and the reason I was like sort of cocky, and is because I was I felt old to be doing a high school show, and I wasn't sure I had my reservations about it, to be honest. Only because it did. I really liked the show, and I just thought, and the other reason was it didn't have the humor yet, it just wasn't there yet. And I guess what I was saying is funny is he's so funny in real life, and he's such he's just such a funny Jewish kid from Rhode Island. Like I can't believe it was as straight as it was, and to think that it wasn't, just funny off the bat, and he wasn't tapping into that side of himself. And I think that when him and I sort of hooked up, it was very easy for him to then, channel all his humor, which he has tons of. To me, to all the characters, and everyone kind of got into it, and certainly Peter Gallagher was very funny, and he got to do a lot of that with him too. And I think we together we both sort of tilted it towards a more comedic place than it initially was intended.
Right. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And the thing about television that's so great and interesting is you can really utilize groupthink in a writer's room, and it is really a neat thing, to so many times you're auditioning, you're trying to fit yourself into this part. Okay, you've got the part, now you got to go make it your own. But to have a script coming in that's been written for you, that they know you, and then there's one guy at the helm, but maybe 10 behind him, sort of, and women
taking turns writing for your voice.
It is like a very harmonious thing that happens. That's can be pretty incredible, and it was.
If there
really
are
great.
4 or 5 main characters, at some point, storylines are involving the same characters week after week. You start servicing these fictitious people as if they're real, because they've been brought to life, of course, by real people.
Yeah, and the more it goes on, the more everyone knows them, and there's kind of rules to their personality, and
so that no one has to say, my character would never say that.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be true.
Yeah.
Some of the lazy writing you see on TV is this character assassination that makes me insane, where usually in the comedies, anything for a joke.
Yeah.
So if it means this character is
suddenly
an idiot, because he's been intelligent until now. But it's funny if he's stupid for this scene.
I also feel like I get much too much credit for improving. It was good, but it was a soap opera, and so any sort of humor or taking out the piss of anything is big and funny, and I wasn't improving up a storm. I wasn't coming up with great lines. It was just. It's also in melodrama, it is easy to undercut it. If you want to be an asshole, you can do it in almost any other line.
Your style, though, is kind of loose. There's a naturalistic thing to it that I think lends itself to the viewer to think that it's all very flowing and perhaps improvised.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But I do think like I'm no improv genius. I just
I thought a sneeze was going on. Sorry.
You got to look up into the light, Carolyn. Right up into it.
Is this empty by any chance? Let me get this the fuck out of here. Do you want to finish?
No.
It's a little bit.
It's cold.
A bit. All right. All right, let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about a world that a lot of actors never find, never get to, and some of which are happy about it. Myself, I've delusional in thinking, which is why my book coming out in the fall called How I Slept My Way to the Middle was titled so, as a character actor. I can get the table at the restaurant, and yet TMZ wants nothing to do with me. And it's kind of this magical mix. So sometimes
that sounds like a good equation so far.
Right. So sometimes we have somebody at this table who actually lived through the old "careful what you wish," where you audition for a job, you get a job, the show is a hit, but it's become such a hit that you are thrust into this sort of rarefied air of whether it's TV star or movie star, whatever it is. And it has the potential of being a white-hot flash of attention that there's nothing natural about it in human life. When you walk out of your house or you go to work, or there's just certain parts of it that are just, they're not normal, they're not real. And so some people don't survive that. You know, I mean, and that is to say, they turn to this and that as a way to escape because they feel trapped or whatever. Even if it's just, if I may, being the first male ever to appear on the cover of Elle Girl magazine. There's just certain little things that happen to you as a television star of the day that I don't think a lot of people experience, quite frankly, as a working actor, as someone who's gone from, well, I'll give it a year, see how it works out, to, holy shit, I really dig this gig. I'd like to do it for the rest of my life. And as you get older, you realize it's an ebb and flow, you know, one's career. But still, it's quite elusive, that job that thrusts you into...
Right.
Because when the OC hit, it hit crazy. So is there... I'm not necessarily looking for words of caution, but a little glimpse into the careful of what you wish existence of being on a giant hit television show.
I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, that just goes with the territory of this. And if you want to have any say in what you do, it just goes hand in hand. I mean, you know, George Clooney, let's say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably has the most creative freedom of anyone, and at the same time, you know, he's as famous as the president. He can't, you know, and that is. What are you going to do? You know, it's
I'm
a good job.
I'm not looking for complaints. I'm really not.
Right.
What I'm asking is
what it's like?
No. When it first happens.
Yeah.
That's the part that interests me.
Yeah.
When your life goes from this to, oh, Jesus.
Right.
You know, I was friends, having worked with Courtney Cox in a movie, and went to visit her on Friends the first year. And that show was almost instant. And then came back to visit her on year 3. And I remember just walking up to the sound stage at Warner Brothers and looking at how all the cars had changed.
Yeah.
From all the cast.
I was such an asshole. I bought like a Mercedes the second year. I want to go back and punch myself in the face.
That's what I mean, though. Because
that's all I did, really, but still.
But that's what I mean. It's only natural to celebrate, first of all, the fact that you got the pilot. Huge celebration to somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. We talked to Sammy about what it's like to get that pilot picked up, and now it's a series. Holy fuck. But it's winning the lottery at every step. And one of those lotteries is the show's a hit.
Right.
Now you got a job for 4 or 5, 6 years, whatever it ends up being. That's another amazing celebration. But what comes with that is a variety of things. So for you, it's, I want to punch myself in the face for getting a Mercedes. That was a ridiculous thing. But at the time, this is a way of you saying, I can get a Mercedes. I've got to see what that feels like.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know. It was a unique. I don't associate it so much with being famous then. I really don't. We were so, it was such an insular world. We filmed in Manhattan Beach. We had the studios to ourselves. I could take my dog to work, so I did all the time.
Nice.
I ended up dating my co-star for the majority of the series. So even, and then, you know, my agent has since, my longtime agent has married and had a kid with the, initially who was the one of the costumers on the show. Josh, the creator of the show, married and has a kid with Jill, who was an actress on the show's best friend. So there was a
family.
It was a total. We all hung out a lot, and it was a nice. That I sort of consider more as my college. Weirdly, you know, it was 4 years, about as long as college should be. That was kind of a college experience for me, and we were working so much, you know, kind of in an out of the way spot, and hung out with each other so much that it wasn't, you know, I noticed more. And then the thing is too, I lived in Hollywood. There's not a lot of teenagers, and there's not a lot of malls, so you don't really get that same kind of, I don't know, Beatlemania you could get other
if you'd
elsewhere.
gone to a mall in Wisconsin during the run of the show.
Yeah, so I wasn't, you know, overrun with fans in that sense either. So it was, the only thing that happened was, the great thing was I got some creative freedom. All of a sudden I was getting calls, I was getting meetings that, I mean, nothing that amazing, but just, I was prepared, and I was a young kid, and I did well for given the circumstance. But at the time, I mean, I had like a general with Dustin Hoffman just for the fuck of it. Like what? I would kill to do that.
You're
now I'd have so much more to
23?
say. I'm 23, and I'm sitting across Dustin Hoffman because maybe there's something we can do together. Who knows?
Because he's a
Whatever.
fan.
He didn't
Because
know who
of
I
his-
was, but we're at the same agency, and they're like, this kid's, you know, I don't know, you should meet. I don't know. But I mean, he didn't, and he shouldn't have known who I was. But things like that, I mean, and you know, again, no, Sam and I were talking about randomly Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that was because Doug Liman directed that. He directed the pilot of the OC, so.
He was one of the executive producers because he directed the pilot.
Yeah.
And so when he gets this giant, well, he did the
He had
first,
already been filming.
he did the Bourne movie, the
He
first
did the Bourne movie,
movie.
and then he'd been filming Mr. Smith, and there was a part, and they were getting a lot of rewrites, and he didn't know what he wanted to do with it, and eventually called me and asked me to do it. And again, so I'm 24, I'm sitting opposite, you know, these two great, fantastic stars, and so anyways, I mean, it just afforded me a lot of amazing opportunities, things that I haven't had, you know, even since. And I'm mostly happy with how I handled myself. I don't think it really, other than the car, it didn't really go to my head, and I've, you know, I feel like I'm relatively the same.
Yeah, well, that's pretty great. I mean, the thing about success of any kind is you have your shit together before it happens or you don't. And if you don't have your shit even a little bit together when it happens, then you don't know how to process it, and it fucks you up. Also, I've commented several times on the show that if you ever question why actors or actresses behave like children, it's because there's myriad reasons why, in the sense that we're treated like children. Let's look at the location shoot of a film, for example. They put you up in your own room.
They fly you there first class.
They fly you there,
Starts
of
with
course.
that.
But the childlike, they give you an allowance. They dress you. They feed you. At any point during the day, you can raise your paw, and someone will go get you pretty much whatever you want. Technically,
Beverage-wise.
beverage-wise. Well, through the production office.
You're really not maximizing what can be done there.
Through the production office on location, you can get anything from a stamp or the mayor killed. But if when all these things sort of happen on an ongoing, regular basis, and suddenly you need an assistant because there aren't enough hours in the day for you to take care of even the fucking laundry because you've got to be on set 16 hours of a 1 hour drama shoot, which can happen.
What's the funny thing about about this business? On one hand, it is so childlike. Just on the other hand, the older I get, the more I think this is true. And when I see older actors and people my dad's age, I go, I can't believe you're sitting in the same chair in the fucking forest next to me, and that kid's gonna go get you a soda, and like, you know, your feet are hurt. I don't know. It's just it's we're still playing dress up as,
Yes.
as an adult, and we're going to work to put on makeup, to play in the,
Yeah.
to pretend to be shot. Like, it's what a silly, unique experience. And then at the same time, Jesus, the hours are long. I mean, when you're actually working, film and television production is a painstaking, laborious process.
Yeah, yeah. And I look around when I'm working on a film or a TV thing.
Yeah.
And the only people I see working are the crew,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Their day goes faster because
Yeah.
they never stop. They're working nonstop. So they don't look at the clock the way you do and go, Jesus.
Well, the crew, I don't even get it. I mean, it's insane.
How they do it, you mean?
How much work, and they don't have, I'm so great at taking a nap, and if there's an hour lunch, like, you better leave,
You're out.
I'm out. And
I never saw you at
like,
lunch when we worked together.
Yeah, and it blows my mind that, like, everyone doesn't have a couch to go sleep on every couple hours. How could you do it? I don't know. That's another profession that I'm not in,
Right.
that really seems...
So you could, in fact, not ever be the best boy.
No. Even, no. It's, I don't know, once. Not for 30 years.
Right. What about the prettiest boy, according to People magazine? Now, when these kind of ridiculous things happen, do you just go, Jesus, another thing to live down around my friends?
What?
Sexiest Man Alive issue of People's magazine and the cover of Elle Girl and these things.
No, you just thank your parents for bone
Yeah,
structure.
thanks for the genes. Speaking of which, opposite Megan Fox, if we're going to go to the gene pool, the DNA formulating in such a degree that, oh my.
Yeah. Because she's having a baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's having a baby and it's yours.
We'll find out.
Eventually, someone will find out. Sidebar on the Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Do you see the real-life chemistry that we later find out about? Or are they just two people working together? I'm not looking for inside gossipy shit. I'm saying when you have scenes, do you see some special spark that
Yeah,
you don't even care?
who cares? What I'll say is they were both fucking lovely. They were
Yeah.
so nice
Yeah.
and relatable and engaging and just regular. I mean, to a point, I guess. But they were so nice to me and down to earth.
That's
And
the
it
part
was-
almost that no one wants to hear.
Yeah.
Because they are so
Yeah.
normal.
No, as they were. Yeah.
Sammy, when you worked with the Mr. Pitt, that's all you had to say was how absurd it was that he's so normal. And the truth is, guess what?
Yeah.
They are just people too. you
Right.
know?
It was upsetting.
It was
It's
upsetting.
absolutely
You want
upsetting.
them to step off a steed
Right.
with the smoke behind them.
Right.
And doves
I
released.
expected him to have like 30 handlers.
Right.
No one gets near him. Only he and Quentin talk to each other. No. He's just hanging on set, sitting down, talking with people, discussing where to eat that night.
But you couldn't score a joint from him. See, that surprises me about you, Sammy.
You know, I could have, but you don't want to hit him up for that sort of thing right away. You want to ease into it like a bath.
Speaking of
He
easing,
knows what I'm talking about.
speaking of easing into it,
Yeah.
it may be in fact time to go to the interwebs and let your fans ask you a couple of questions, sir. We have a thing on the show called Tweet 5. Cue Dave Keckner.
T5.
Ever work with this spasmodic, incredibly funny guy?
I've been in the same movie, but we haven't worked together.
Crazy funny dude.
Yeah, I'm a big fan actually.
These Tweet 5 are originally questions that came in from the Twitterverse. But they're designed directly for you. They are rapid fire 5 questions, this or that, Coke or Pepsi, no correct answer, but they're designed directly for you.
Okay.
This one from @Max V. Von White. Hartford or Orange County? You just got to choose. It's not Sophie's choice. At least you're taking it seriously, and I'm sure he appreciates that.
Hartford or Orange County. The irony is I grew up in San Diego. I live in LA. I was on the fucking show, and I barely have been to Orange County.
Thank you.
But I've never been to Hartford.
Right.
So I have to say Orange County.
Thank you. That's the correct answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Guitar or drums?
Drums.
Also the correct answer. You may remember I mentioned there were no correct answers. Writing songs or writing scripts?
Scripts.
All right. Skating or surfing?
Surfing.
I think we know the answer to that. Most importantly, apple or banana?
Ooh. Well, I can't go either or, but I'll give you some color.
Okay.
I like a Macintosh apple, the green red ones.
More than the crisp?
It's got to be it's the only kind I really love, that sweet and sour combo.
Okay.
And then I like an underdone banana.
Underdone?
Yeah.
Slightly
like
green
chalky,
on the outside.
slightly green. Yeah, I don't want it to be too sweet.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Almost flavorless.
Yeah, almost like oatmeal.
Nice.
And out of either or, well, I'd say the apple, that particular apple, because they're only in season a couple times, not all year round. That's probably the more precious of the two. So, Macintosh apple.
Jamie has been doing this forever and only recently got me to try it, and now it's my drug of choice, which is you cut up the apple into wedges, you put a little fucking peanut butter on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's ridiculous. Tell me about your writing discipline and or ritual. I find this to be one of the more individualistic practices is how one goes about writing. Because there are books that tell you how to do it, and they're all full of shit, because it's the most personal creative thing, because you're mostly working in a vacuum unless you have a writing partner.
Yeah.
Do you write alone?
Mo.
You write with a guy named Mo.
I even when I write alone, if I write alone, and I don't write that much, but when I do, I am sort of checking with. I still have someone more or less I'm bouncing off ideas with every couple days.
Right.
So I do like to have some checks and balances and bounce stuff off. And my thing is, I really do like to structure as much as possible and therefore talk about stuff and break stuff down. And if I can have a conversation with somebody about it before, the writing is pure fun to me. When you're actually writing the scene, if I know where it's going, if I know what's supposed to happen, if I know, my next goal and my next, how many pages I got to go until I get to X, then I really love being by myself, music. You can be inebriated or not, and that's just a fun experience. But I'm, kind of without a map. If I'm without a map and I'm just on the open seas, that could be good too. But I don't even know how to get Final Draft open to a new version. I'm such a Luddite. I mean, I really have to go show me how to get a new screenplay, geared up. So, anyways, I've got my two that are ongoing, and. But in terms of everything but writing an actual scene, everything else I love to talk about, and I love to throw stuff against the wall,
right,
vocally, and so I find it really helps if I have someone that can at least. And so I've had, I've tried to write a script with somebody, and I've also had just as I've done for other people is I'll always sort of help troubleshoot. Virtually everyone I know is writing something, and I always love and really enjoy and like to troubleshoot their problems with my friends, and they're generous about doing the same.
Strangest path by which a script reached you? First time I've ever asked this question.
Really
For
is.
example, the guy that cleans my pool has a script he'd want me to read.
By the way, it's great.
You read it?
You really, yeah. I was there a couple weeks ago. He's like,
Well, I heard
hey,
about
Mr.
that.
Pollock, you want to read my script? You want to read my script? He's got that non-distinct accent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's ethnic.
Right.
Anyway, you really should check it out.
What's it about?
I don't want to give too much away.
97 pages. That's the correct answer to that question.
That is the correct answer to that question.
When you don't know.
I don't know what I can't even. I don't know.
It's politically savvy.
Nothing too outlandish. I mean, I've had a neighbor, you know what I mean, but nothing too crazy.
Can I tell you mine?
Yeah.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave you script.
Yeah.
That's an honor.
Well,
It wasn't.
We knew
What was it about?
We knew each other just the minute. And I've never actually told this. I didn't even put this in the book. But I was working on a thing, on a pilot, and he came by for an hour or so to do his little piece. And a real honor to meet you, sir. Been a fan a long time. Are you kidding me? You're the fucking science guy. Everyone loves you. I heard you have a production company. Well, I mean, I do, but because I have a script in the car. If you would,
In the car on paper even. That's,
yeah, brought me a hard copy. So I just decided I think I might make this a regular question for guests because at some point, and what made me think of it was when you said, "Listen, everyone I know is working on a script." The truth is, in this town, it's one of the ways in. But Billy Bob Thornton sat there and told us the story about how early in his career, he was catering, as many actors do. You pass around drinks or appetizers at famous people's homes.
sure, fucking hard. Well, those jobs are hard to get to. I remember, like, I would to be a bartender seemed impossible when I was young. But you know, but yeah, those are good. A good waiting job is actually hard to come by. But anyways,
yeah, no, great gig. So, but he's passing around drinks and stuff, and this older gentleman who's German sounding is a guest at the party and sparks up a conversation with him and says, "So what do you want to really do? You know, you're catering, but what do you really want?" I said, "I want to be an actor." "Sit down. You're not good looking enough to be an actor. Have you thought about writing?" And it's what set him on a course of writing, where he eventually was able to break through as an actor because he had written such an astonishing piece for himself that he workshopped on stage as a one-act for forever. The older gentleman with the Germanic accent ended up being Billy Wilder, so it's a world-class story.
Well, I can see why I took it to heart.
Yeah, but he didn't know it was Billy Wilder.
When did he find out?
Later, someone pointed out, "Do you know who that was? Who just sat you down and talked to you for 45 minutes?" And Billy said, "No, man, I'm from Arkansas. I don't know. I don't have any idea what you're talking about." Yeah, that was Billy Wilder.
You know, it's a good question you used to ask the guests early on. Haven't done it in a while, and I always thought it was a fun question. Most famous person in your phone.
Wow. Thank you. I forgot about that one.
Right?
I can't believe we're losing you to television.
Ah!
Look how uncomfortable we've made the guest.
Oh, that's our goal.
Most famous
And I was just
person
thinking,
in my phone.
it might be me in Negrin's phone that now belongs to a total stranger.
It's weird.
Yes. Oh, shit.
Apparently he did the remote wipe, but it's weird. It saves all the really important numbers.
Yeah, and he also had a code. You had to
Yeah, it's
four
fine. It's
numbers.
fine.
You want to go there?
Me? I don't have any of that, you know.
Yeah. It's no comment on you.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might have someone famous on your phone.
No,
It's more of a shits and giggle. Is the correct answer, so don't sweat it. I would like to have this question asked to you by Freddie Noriega. Believe it or not.
Relation to Manuel?
Let's hope. I'd love to hear you both talking about the creative, rewarding experience that must have been working with nicest guy in Hollywood, Bruce Willis. So apparently Kevin Smith has written this in, this question in.
well,
Go ahead.
okay. I had a great experience.
Yeah, me too. I've worked with him 4 times.
I mean, he's really good.
I pulled Kevin Smith aside on the first day, and I could see the struggle in his eyes, the difficult times, and now Kevin has gone ridiculously public with his take on it.
As he does with everything.
As is his want, as is his genius. And I love him madly, and it kind of became a problem for me, as you might sense it still is, because I love both these guys.
Yeah.
And they do not share that love for each other.
They don't seem to need you to pick a side, do they?
No. But, yeah, neither one would give a flying fuck if I picked a side either. But I write about working with Bruce and hanging with Bruce in the book. And you know, when someone's that generous to you in your personal life and in business, you'd be hard-pressed to ever find a negative thing to say about them. But he also represented that rarefied air like Brad or Angelina. You know, there's only so many movie stars on the list
Right.
who greenlight films, or what they now call bank. If you get this person, I will give you whatever millions you need to make your film. And to have that, you know, Burt Reynolds kind of proved if you have a solid 10 years at that helm, at that title, that's remarkable. And some of these guys, it lasts over generations and decades.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson being the king of maybe 5 decades now.
Yeah.
which is astonishing. So I mean, other than a director, you would be hard pressed to find someone who might have some weird, unfortunate incident with any of these people. Because I always feel like as coworkers, as actors, we're playing in a sandbox.
I remember Kevin said, you know, Smith was like, because he worked with him on Die Hard, you know, 4 or 3 or something as an actor, and was like, I loved him, I didn't get it, you know, and it's just a different experience directing him, and so I'm sure that's the case. And for me, I felt like he was very nice to me, and
wildly approachable, and just
absolutely, and
about having fun, and
and you know, he's kind of also directing a little, but like, yeah, I mean, you know, he's also the reason everyone's there, and I don't mind, you know, I felt like I had plenty of room, especially with Kevin being so generous creatively. Right. I felt like I had plenty of room to do what I wanted within whatever Bruce Willis wanted to do.
I thought we had free reign.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. And
I don't remember doing any of the dialogue that was written.
No, and it was such a fun experience to me, and it combined, for me, that was one of my actual, you know, it's not a critical success, but I had...
Nor was it designed to be.
You know, I had one of the most fun times I've had making anything, really. And it was such a good... For me, it was even subject matter. The idea of, like, slapstick on one hand. I mean, just, like, as goofy as I've really gotten to even be. And then on the other hand, getting to, you know, shoot guns with Willis, too, was like... It was pretty amazing. It was, like, kind of a cross-section of a bunch of stuff I wanted to do.
Well, let me ask you about the humor, because... My first experience working with you was, this guy's a natural. Honestly, not to make you uncomfortable with compliments, but you don't often get an opportunity to show those colors and show that strength. And where did it come from, since you haven't been allowed to do it that often? Was it just from studying funny people who you admired in film or what have you, or are you just a natural? Because your chops, comedically speaking only. Yeah. I would never stand on any platform in terms of acting, because I still don't know my ass from a hole in the ground. I don't know the exact number of films, 69 later, but I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So, but comedy-wise, yes, I'm gonna weigh
short,
in.
But okay.
I'm gonna weigh in.
All right, you've been in dramas. But okay.
I'm going to weigh in comedically as well. Oh, no, I'm not allowed to do comedy anymore. It's the great irony of my career. Right, it's absurd. Even in the Grumpy Old Men movies, I'm playing straight man to Walter Matthau. But, you know, I didn't know that you had any of this in you. And it was not that I'd studied your entire body of work, but do you have any frustrations about not enough opportunity to kind of be what you got to do in Cop Out, which was... silly and goofy and fun?
No, because I feel very versatile tone-wise, if nothing else. You know, I think, like, I can't play every part, but I could find a place in most genres, you know. So no, you know, and my favorite dramatic actors are just, I mean, it's such a tangible thing, and I really equate humor with my favorite dramatic actors, too, and my favorite ones are the ones who bring, you know, tons of humor to the darkest, most dramatic stuff.
Right.
So,
and also we talked about how when you found your rhythm on the OC, you got to steal funny moments by being that. So you clearly went to college for 4 years with a sense of humor.
And I was coming from, at the time, you know, and when I got the OC, everyone, you know, I was just trying to be Vince Vaughn. Like, he was my, I loved Swingers.
See, there you go.
Clay Pigeons.
Clay Pigeons.
Those were huge movies to me at the time. Made came out like right in the beginning of the OC, right before, and
I love
those were
Clay Pigeons.
You know, all leading up to like Old School, and he was sort of all I wanted to be. So he was this fast talking, ad-libbing guy, and
lucid.
I would even steal his rhythm. You know, not successfully, but I would steal his speech patterns. You know, and I've since stopped. So I don't know. I mean, it came from that a little, and you know, and he didn't seem to me like some improv-trained comedian. He was just this guy who was kind of walking through the scenes and commenting on everything.
You could tell he was sort of inspired, I think, by Bill Murray a little bit in terms of that loosey-goosey Hey, who's over there? What's happening? Everybody, please get a cocktail.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely yeah. Well, there's that guy, just the charming, operator. But I do think Bill Murray has a bit more of like absurdist humor and kind of can do a little. I mean, Vince can do physical stuff. I say Vince like I know him. I don't know.
Mr. Bond.
But I don't know. Anyways, in Cop Out and among other things, I always still feel more comfortable if. The thing I liked about Cop Out was I would just write jokes the night before for it. You know, it wasn't most of the stuff, anything I did in there wasn't off the top of my head. Rarely, and there's so little time. I don't feel equipped, and I also don't feel like there's enough time to really just discover stuff in the moment, and where they just leave stuff, leave the camera rolling. And if they do, I always crap out. But I can most likely come with a couple things in my back pocket, and I don't know. I can also roll with the punches too. I mean, I might not be able to come up with the funniest stuff in the scene, in the moment, in a improv situation, but I do feel like I won't drop the ball, and I can always hang at the very least.
Yeah.
I never feel out of my depth, so I don't know.
Well, we'll see if you can roll with the punches, because the time has come in this particular show for a little thing we like to call. Yes.
I have to pee.
Okay, good. Let's Sammy come over here, and you and I will discuss. Well, we're gonna another show. Another first for show 146.
Somebody's had to pee.
Please go pee.
No one's had to pee on the show before. I don't want to pee. I want to.
No.
Oh no! You're definitely gonna go pee, Mister. Just remove that microphone. Sammy, sit in. I want to talk a little bit to you first.
Yeah, with pleasure.
Yeah.
Can I get a refill?
Yeah.
Thanks, pal.
Absolutely. So then you'll have to pee. That's the problem, is I gave our guest too much water. What's happening here?
I don't know what happened. He took his stuff off the floor, put it on the table like I was going to step on it. I saw his stuff.
Put on. Oh, you already mic'd.
I'm mic'd. I'm good.
Okay.
This is great.
Here you go.
Thanks, pal.
The good news is that 82% of our fans listen to the show. They don't watch it.
Right. They won't know the difference. They'll just think he's been quiet.
They won't see any of the peculiar walking about. Tell me. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
You're going to New York tomorrow.
Going to New York tomorrow for the upfronts.
A little bit of the NBC upfronts, which how many times have you experienced that sort of ballyhoo?
This will be my
third
time I've had.
That's what it says in your dossier.
That is not my dossier you're looking at right there.
This is the third time.
This is the third pilot I've had picked up, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean the NBC upfronts. They don't always send everybody out there for the
No, they're not.
upfronts.
Let's set the record straight. They are not sending me. I am flying, and you happen to be in New York. Well, by all means, you're welcome to drop by.
Please come to the celebration.
Yes, come to the celebration. They're not promenading me out on the stage,
right?
Or anything like that. No.
Because the promenading out on the stage thing.
Yeah, the Dog and Pony Show. That's going to be Stephen Pasquale. Alana De La Garza, beautiful woman. Oh my God. Your Felicia Rashad.
Hello.
Yeah,
Mrs.
we have some great cast.
Right on.
Yeah, you're John Carroll Lynch.
Love John Carroll
Right?
Lynch.
Great.
Fantastic.
So good.
Let's get him on the show.
Let's.
You've got to start making these things happen.
Buddy, as soon as we get into production and I start seeing these people on even a semi-regular basis.
I hear we're getting close to the Apatow.
He and I have been emailing.
Yeah.
And he
said to my face.
He wants to do the show.
He wants to do the show.
He's busy.
You know
He's busy.
who's not busy these days?
Who's that?
Right now? Adam Brody. Oh, look who's back.
Hey, he's back.
Hey.
I'm busy. This is fantastic.
Right now, you're done.
No, you don't want to put that there because I'm going to stand there. If you can put it where your seat, I won't step on it, I promise.
You misunderstood about the busy. I meant no longer peeing, sir. Yeah.
I'm still peeing.
No, listen. We're gonna, as soon as we're done with the Who Tweeted, we're going to talk about the 7 projects on IMDb. Hopefully 5 of which are true, because who can trust that damn site anymore? I mean, every time I now get
what's happened to IMDb these days.
Every time I get offered a script, it ends up on IMDb as a project I'm working on.
Yeah, I only have one false one on there.
Okay, good. We'll talk about the false one. But right now it's time for Who Tweeted? Look at that. Look at that. Woo. All right. There's the me. No longer part of the game.
Are you playing too? We play against each other.
You're playing against each other on the host. Oh boy, this is the best part of the show, some would say. Okay.
Wow. I think it's just you.
Who tweeted? Here's how it works. One at a time, I'm going to read a series of 8 tweets. Yeah. and you are going to tell me who authored the tweets. It was either Tyra, Paris, or Bieber.
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Tyra,
How do we
Tyra,
ring
Bieber.
in, Sam?
Oh, well, that's the best part. You ring in by saying your own name.
Is it the best part?
Really?
It is. It's my favorite part.
If you
You
go
ring in by
Adam.
saying, I will point to you.
Because
and
if we
then
both go, they won't
I don't know who's
who
talking.
said it.
I'm reading off the thing. So then,
And it's whoever gets it faster.
yeah,
Whoever
if
says
you
your
ring in
name
first,
first.
I will point to you. You have 3 seconds to say either Tyra, Paris, Bieber. You ring in, you get it right, you get yourself 5 points. You ring in, you get it wrong, you lose 3. Once someone has rung in, that's it. We're moving on to the next question after that, right or wrong.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah, there's no
I'm going
second.
to get one, and then I'm just
You
going
only
to
get one shot. You're either right or wrong, and then we'll move on.
There's
You do not have to wait for me to finish reading the tweet. As soon as you think you know it, feel free to ring in.
Tyra, Paris, or Bieber. It's going to be hard. Okay.
Okay.
You're going to be better at knowing.
I've lost the last 3 in a row.
Great.
He's really not good at this game. But here's the best part. We're not playing for honor.
We're not playing for bragging rights?
No.
$20.
20.
There's a sweet Andrew
If I
Jackson.
win,
Yeah.
can we convert that to a sandwich?
Yes, of course.
We can convert that to several sandwiches. I don't know where you get your sandwiches from, sir.
Can we bring in some pizza for
Mr.
the guests?
Millionaire.
No, not yet. I'm good.
Okay, all right, all right.
All right. Are you ready to play Who Tweeted?
Yeah.
Here we go. Tweet number 1.
Number 1.
Worrying
Let's see.
is a waste of time. It doesn't change anything. It messes with your mind and
Kevin.
steals...
Tyra.
Incorrect.
That's what I was going to get. So then I get a guess?
No, you don't.
No, that's it. He's
That's the
lost
beauty.
3
You don't
points.
have
You're
to.
already
I'm
ahead.
down.
You've lost points.
You
Okay.
had-
minus
you had-
3.
You had to do nothing.
In
and now you're
fairness,
leading.
I'm still have just a tentative grasp on who my choices are. Bieber, Paris, Tyra.
Tyra
But
Banks,
I forget it
Paris
periodically.
Hilton,
Yeah,
Justin Bieber.
okay.
You know who these people are.
I
They
like
hang
when
out
their
at your place
faces
every
were up.
week.
I like when their faces were up.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah. No. You were
Tweet number 2.
Paris Hilton.
Tyra.
What a relaxing day. I love Sundays.
Adam.
3 seconds.
Paris.
Hey, that is correct.
Wow. Wow.
Nicely done,
I'm getting my ass
sir.
kicked again.
Nicely
J-Mac.
done.
Sorry, man.
The fuck?
Whew.
Every week.
Tweet.
I'm sick of it.
Tweet number 3. You plus your flaws plus awesome equals
Kevin Tyra.
flossum.
I should have let you finish.
That is correct.
I should have let you finish. Whoa! That was pure luck. Okay, it's 5-2. 5 to 2. Good luck.
Tweet number 4.
Flossom?
Flossum. I heard 3 years ago today I did my first tweet. Wild.
Adam. Justin.
I was going to say Paris.
Bieber.
That is correct.
Oh my God, he's 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Crushing
Fucker.
you. Crushing you, Kevin.
10-2.
Tweet number
Why do I even show
5.
up? Why do I even show up? So hard.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. Special, fierce, and love to...
Tyra.
3 for 3.
Because you said mama?
Fierce.
And she's not a gay man. Tweet number 6. Running away with it. Kevin, get in the game. Wango Tango today.
Wish I knew what that was. I could answer.
Adam. Paris. No, Bieber.
Finally, he missed one.
Bieber.
He's human after all. So, leading by only 10 points
Shut
with 2
your
questions
fucking
to
mouth.
go, Kevin Pollak, maybe want to jump in there. Tweet number 7. This one is for all the moms out there. Today is your day.
Kevin Bieber.
Was that Peeber?
Bieber.
Peeber is incorrect. Bieber is correct.
Yes! Woohoo!
Within 5.
That now means with question number 8
could tie.
remaining.
Question number 8 remaining. You can
So,
tie.
do you
should
wanna
ring in and
advise
get it
him?
correct. Now, should you ring in and get it wrong, you're only going to lose 3 points.
Yeah. So, Adam.
Hang on. Hang on.
All right.
I'm
Kevin! He still beat me. That was impressive. He cannot lose. All right, so go ahead.
Paris.
That is correct!
Wow, that's pretty fucking righteous.
I'm so glad you guys did that because I didn't write down a tiebreaker one today. The tiebreaker was going to be how much do I weigh without going over.
Oh, wow.
I thought we were going to get there.
By the way, plus 17 may be one of the higher scores.
Really?
That's pretty.
Yes.
You're up there in Weird Al
We're
territory.
natural.
Yeah, he did very
Enjoy
well.
your sandwich. May I suggest Bay Cities down the road a little bit there in Santa
Tell me how to
Monica.
get there when this is. Oh, Santa.
Yeah, it's a little far.
Now,
It's the opposite way I'm going. Otherwise,
before I retreat back to my seat, I just
Yes, Sammy.
while we have our guest here in
Please.
in this vulnerable position. Now, as an actor who has made something of a career out of playing a geek, there was this horrible turn in the industry around like 2004 or 5 that I think you are entirely to blame for, and I'd like you to stand accountable for it. Here's what happened. They used to write down on the breakdown, they'd say,
This is my my best accomplishment.
we were looking for a geeky guy, and then I'd go in and read, and I would crush it in the room. And then my people would call and they go, hey, we want to get some feedback. Oh, we love him, he's great. You know, he's not quite the geeky kind we're looking for. Well, what are you looking for? Well, you know, like Adam Brody on the OC geeky. Oh, so handsome, charismatic, and smart, but he's Jewish, so he's a geek. So up yours, you handsome motherfucker. And that's how you play.
But
Who
I'm not
tweeted?
that smart, so.
Thank you, Sammy Levine.
No, that was my biggest accomplishment as an actor. Was for a moment there.
Yeah.
After auditioning forever, and I would read the breakdowns and see what I'm going in for. Occasionally, they would say Adam Brody, and they would say it to anyone. They would use anyone who was recognizable at the time. But when I made it to when I was a type for a minute, that was a high point of my set.
Thanks, Sammy.
Sorry.
My career.
Yeah, that should have been. I hope it was. You redefined the stereotype. You redefined the typecasting for a bit there. With Big Bang Theory, everything is right back where it belongs, I'm happy to say. Right back where it belongs.
Let's talk a little bit about the 7 projects on IMDb, please. First of all, which one's false? Let's clear that up.
Okay. Hemlock Drive is,
You have nothing, but you're not attached to it. What are you excited that's coming down the pike?
I like all of it.
All right, then just name a couple.
I can.
What can you talk about?
Why don't I work? You talk about any of them. I got, a close, very close personal friend of mine. She was my girlfriend for a while. Directed and wrote Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. And so that movie just means a lot to me. And I think she did a wonderful, wonderful job. And it's this Steve Carell, Keira Knightley, End of the World romantic dramedy. And
she wrote and directed it.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And
Quite the cast.
I have a it's great, and then it's them, and then it's this great ensemble. Everyone else is really in it for like a big scene, and myself included. And I just love what she did with that. It's this great blend of it's very, very funny, and then it it's very dramatic too. And
when do we look for that?
It's June 22nd, I believe.
Beautiful.
It's got to be like the first day of summer.
That's the first what?
It's got to be like around the first day of summer.
Really? I only think of seasons in terms of movies. I felt like we were in summer for. I guess not. That's not how the world works.
Because the
seasons.
Because the summer season has already started for the motion picture business. I see what you mean.
Avengers doesn't mean it's summer.
It used to be Memorial Day.
Right.
They used to wait. That was the
Yeah.
Now we're beginning of May.
The one that's out right now still is called Damsels in Distress.
Yeah.
And
I was checking that out actually in detail. It looked pretty fucking cool.
I worship that movie.
Yeah.
I love it, and
Please
I can
go
say that
see it.
because my part is fine and solid, but I'm not. It's not my movie by any stretch. So, I'm just such a fan of that director, Whit Stillman. And he hasn't made a movie since Last Days of Disco in 1998, and he's still,
A little bit about the experience of working with him would be great.
Well, he's just such an interesting, funny, charming character, and it's just right out of Whit Stillman's his name, and he's right out of character out of one of his movies, and his really only 3 movies until this one was Metropolitan, Barcelona, and Last Days of Disco, all from the '90s, and he chronicled a sort of well-to-do society. He's got coined as or he's been sort of deemed a waspier Woody Allen, and that's true in a way, but I mean that undersells it to me. But in hyper literate, very written stuff, and he's just so funny, and he's one of a kind. He's has such a singular vision that his stuff is so rich and with ideas and humor, and it's so unique. It was a joy to be a part of it and to get to be a color in his palette. And the idea that I got to work with him is it would be like getting to work with any living amazing director right now to me. I mean, there's not one that would mean more to me or in a way be a bigger deal than getting to work with him for me, just because I think that's how much I love his work and that's how much I respect him. And then he's known for his writing mostly. His characters talk about books. They use a huge vocabulary, and in a heightened way, in a sort of unnatural Jane Austen type way.
Right.
And this one, Damsels, is a sort of Jane Austen meets Animal House. It really is like if those two movies met in the middle. And Greta Gerwig's the lead, and I just think she's brilliant, and what can I say? It was a pleasure. It was a dream. It was $1 million movie, so it was very, as those are. It's a brief experience. I've gotten to know everyone just as well from going to film festivals with it as I have from actually the making of the movie.
Right. What festivals have you been to?
Went to Venice and Toronto.
How great was Venice?
It was so cool. It was great. It was my first time there, and just in Italy, period. And
magical fucking place.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, that was definitely the dream, getting to do that for this movie.
Even the power boat versus the gondola, the power boat from I think the train or something where you land and it takes you into the middle. Even that little ride is ridiculous.
It's incredible, and to get to do that in conjunction with a film festival, just the best of all worlds to me. That was definitely a highlight for me. But anyways, that one's out,
Damsels
and I love it. Yeah,
please go see it, folks.
And I mean, if you check out the trailer, if you like the trailer, you will. It's an acquired taste, certainly. I mean, if you like the trailer, if you don't like it, you're wrong. But it
may not be your taste.
Yeah, and if you like the trailer, you'll like the movie, and if you don't.
Don't bother.
Yeah. So there's that. That's out now. And,
all right.
There's other stuff. I just finished a movie last week. That was a nice experience. It was called...
Why are you whispering? Is it a secret that you finished last
It's
week?
a movie for the CIA.
No, I don't know.
You got very
At a certain point, listing my whole resume, I'm proud of all these things, but it feels a little...
Right.
I feel like a pitch man.
Yes, but if you're on the street doing this, it'd be weird. We brought you here specifically to hear about this shit.
Well, let me tell you about Some Girls. It was a adaptation of a Neil LaBute play.
We've had people here who've done his plays.
Yeah. I've been a fan of his for a long time. We met on something years ago that never happened, but got along well. And he produced it. He did not direct it. And it's about one guy who is visiting his. It just takes place in five big scenes, and it's this one guy who's visiting his 5 ex-girlfriends before he gets married, and it was such a great, challenging role for me, and maybe the most exhausting thing I've ever done, just because we were doing 6-day weeks, and you were
in every shot.
Half of every half of every exchange, and just such a great part. And I got to work with 5 great actresses, and such a treat for me. I mean, really, it was. And I've never done a play, so this was it wasn't a play, but it was almost my dream experience of it, of all the acting and the meat of getting to do a play, but we get to also
multiple takes.
Yeah, we get multiple takes, and we get to make it film it and make it the definitive version,
right?
And sort of keep it for posterity. So.
Who are some of the actresses that play the
Jennifer Morrison is, right. I don't know if you know Jennifer, I've worked with her, this is like the 3rd time I've worked with her, I've known her for over a decade. Mia Maestro was in it, she's great. Emily Watson.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was amazing. And again, I get to do this essentially a big one act with all these girls, so I mean, what a treat to get to do a 3-day scene with Emily Watson.
You did like 5 different movies.
Yeah, and then Zoe Kazan, who is so talented, and Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
Love Kristen Bell.
Yeah. Everyone was like, every girl brought something different to it, and they were all so charming and professional, and just, they all did such a great job. And I'm so curious to see it together. But anyways, I finished that like 2 weeks ago, week and a half.
Called
ago.
Some Girls.
Yeah.
I'll be out in a while, as they say.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough again. I mentioned at the outset, you won't believe it when I tell you, in this case, just under 100 and, where are we at, 160?
Oh, we're over 100.
We're 105 minutes. 105. We're an hour 50. Congratulations.
Solid.
Congratulations.
Solid.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to spend most
And
of the time
only-
talking about surfing in San Diego.
And only one pee break.
Yeah, I don't know
In
how
the hour
anyone
50.
could. I can't believe no one else has had to take a leak. That's
They
crazy.
have. We used to have breaks.
We used to take breaks.
We used to take breaks.
The first 40 episodes, we definitely took breaks.
All right.
Yeah, now I've made people suffer through 100, and now we're back to, you know what, we're going to take a little break.
That's why people are. Have you found people are more forthcoming with the truth later in the intervios?
Yeah, because they just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll just tell you, yes, he was terrible to work with. He was the worst.
People get very emotional.
They do.
But I really do want to thank you, honestly, because we worked together over a year ago, and we talked about you doing this.
Over 2 years ago now.
Oh, is it really that long? Jesus. But we talked about you doing this, and it's been a scheduling thing because thankfully you have been working nonstop, and I've been working a little, but it's nice to be able to work out the schedule and have you here finally after all this time.
Yes, I
And
felt like you didn't want me.
I can't wait to have you as a new neighbor, too. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
A new somewhat neighbor.
Yeah.
Somewhat enough that you'll have some burnt meats again once you get over to another barbecue. I mentioned this at the outset. It is the other long-standing tradition part of the show.
Yeah.
It's fairly straightforward, and it'll be over in a matter of seconds. But here's the deal.
Sounds like a record.
Another thing that Jamie created for the show as the head writer. By the way, she landed safely in Mexico. I know everybody was wondered if she had been...
She touched down.
Oh,
Right.
no.
She touched down?
Hang on. No. There was never question she's going to land safely in Mexico.
Yeah.
How long she remains?
Yeah, she's
right.
never coming home.
I won't...
Let's
You should
let's
ask
be
about
clear.
the cartels. We're probably talking to the cartels.
Unfortunately, she won't text me because her nickname is Depression Baby, and the texts from Mexico to here on an American phone are 50 cents
I have
a
a-
text.
Right. And also, what you did not consider is the Mexican Harold Ramis
Is there.
is there. So
I have a question about the money I won.
The money you won?
Yeah. Let's say you won.
You're
it.
not the
Where does
first
it
guest.
come? Where does it come from?
You're not the first
I mean,
guest.
not where's it printed, but is that your money? I assume. Is that the show's
You're
money?
not the first guest to ask. Nor
And isn't
you-
$1 million supposed to drop from the table?
there's the first guest to make that reference.
By the way, that reference bought the house you came and visited. Hello. Never mind where the $20 came from. And not
I'm
only-
just saying, if you won it, would you just be winning it back?
it would be offered up to the next guest.
Okay.
It's an ongoing pool.
Okay.
And when it's won,
It's yours to lose or keep.
that's right.
Okay.
It's important to you.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. I think it feels better now knowing that it came from me.
Yeah, hurts a little more.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know why I hate losing.
You've got to get better at that game. It's costing you a fortune.
You know, the show itself cost $9, so the extra 20 is really not that big a deal. All right, so the last thing Jamie wrote for the show is something called the Larry King game, and I've had every guest just about do this at the end. It's a ritual, and the rules are very simple, and you're going to like the first one. It involves a bad Larry King impression. I don't want a good Larry King impression. Okay, I only want a bad one, because to me, that's why it's fun. And I'll give you the prototype I'll give you the version.
So I'm going to be doing the Larry King.
Yeah, you'll be playing Larry King game as all the guests have. Larry King game is that moment where Larry would offer up something about himself and then go to the phones. And what he offers up about himself is the part that needs to be wonderfully kind of manufactured and made up. And remember, Larry's been around since prehistoric days, so it could be Larry sharing his first ride on a pterodactyl. Here's the prototype to work from. Bad Larry King impression, too much information moment, go to the phones, should be a funny sounding city if possible, as he would on the show. Thanksgiving, I like to teabag the gravy boats before the guests arrive. Schenectady, hello.
My sincere apology to our regular viewers and listeners.
To our regular audience who have heard that particular prototype 104 times.
Oh, I see.
So, bad Larry King impression, too much information moment, go to the phones, funny sounding city. That's it.
Okay.
That's your camera when you're ready. It doesn't have to be this very second. You can have a few more while Sammy and I talk about next week's show. You work on your Larry King.
Oh, it's going to be as bad if I should just do it.
Let's do it. There's your camera.
Sometimes I like turkey jerky more than beef jerky, even though it's not really more ethical. Phones. Cincinnati.
By the way, you win. Yeah, not another 20, but you do win.
Yes.
That was fucking fantastic.
Right.
Oh my.
It's pretty good.
Thank you honestly and truly for participating fearlessly in every stage of the proceedings. You'll have to sit there uncomfortably for only 90 more seconds while I say goodbye.
90 seconds.
That's it. That's all I need to say goodbye, maybe less. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, pal. There we go. Thanks to the wonderful Adam Brody. And check out the films we discussed, as well as any damn thing you want. Thanks for writing to us at contact@kevinpollak'schatshow.com. Let us know your thoughts, what you're thinking. Hopefully I have more time next week. Our guest will be Richard Kind. We're going to pre-tape the show.
Breaks my heart. I sent my schedule.
Sammy sent his schedule. He set it so that he could be here for the Richard Kind episode.
And Richard
had to change it, so we're going to pre-tape on Friday. But he'll be up next Sunday. And then look forward to...
Kevin, I can't wait to do the show.
I know.
It's going to be a fantastic... I'm going to tell stories.
It's very exciting.
I'm going to tell you stories about when George and I were roommates.
George. Tony Hale has recently booked to be on the show.
That's fantastic.
Sunday, June 10th. I hope you're here.
I'll be here.
All right, sir. He's doing great work on the new show, Veep.
Yeah.
Loving him always from Arrested Development and other things. Check the schedule for all the guests upcoming, whose names I can never remember. I want to thank J-Mac as he sat in a new capacity today, as our Dr. Kenny Chen was out doing something very important.
And Jamie. Covered both.
He did. J-Mac covered Jamie and Chen, which is the name of my third book.
Oh.
Jamie and Chen. And Josh Negrin out there running the boards along with Justin Weiss. Josh has a new motion picture that he stars in on the internet. I believe it's available on the YouTube, called Crying Charlie. Nope, Calling Charlie. Wait.
Just type in Josh Negrin and Charlie. You'll get it.
Love it to death and very happy that he has finished another film. And you know what? Maybe on Friday, if he's available, we'll sit him down and talk about this little motion picture that he co-wrote. Oh no, he just yelled, I'm not doing that. That he co-wrote and stars in. And I love when anybody on the show works their ass off to propel forward. And he's done it yet again. So I want to give him a little shout out. Elaine Ewing is our social media expert and helping also with the Hulu.com experience, where you can see the entire library in each and every one of these shows. If you wouldn't mind, if you're on your way to Amazon.com, I didn't mention this at the outset, but I'll do it now. Stop by the homepage of Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. Click on through. There's a banner at the top of the page. If you're on your way to Amazon.com anyways, oh look, there it is. Also an opportunity for you to get that 10% off at the GoDaddy. But by just clicking through our homepage banner on your way to Amazon.com, it will cost you about 9 seconds, and we'll get a little thank you from the Amazon people, which is always nice. It's your way to support this show, which you've asked time and time again.
And also don't want you to
Let's not forget Samantha Ward, our makeup artist, who once again made us all look a little bit better than we normally do. And lastly, I want to thank you, Sam Levine, for hanging in there, even though you've been knighted once again to the television broadcast.
Please, there's half a chance I get fired before the thing gets shot. Let's not count our chickens.
I can't believe you made that happen just now.
What?
By mentioning it.
Oh, I make a lot of things terrible happen.
It's what we do.
It is what we do.
Yeah. There's no other way to...
Actually, if I don't say it, I feel like it comes true more than when I do.
I'm going to keep knocking wood. Tune in next weekend, as always, and I honestly do appreciate each and every damn one of you. If you wouldn't mind going to the iTunes there and writing yourselves a little review, subscribing, tell all your friends. We can't do this without you. We love you. We need you. And until next show, and as always, get out of my face. And that's